Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In today's proceedings, we welcome the emergency services procession at the start, including the flags of the New South Wales Police Force, Fire and Rescue New South Wales Ambulance, New South Wales Rural Fire Service, and New South Wales State Emergency Service, led by Bagpiper Inspector John Graham, New South Wales Police retired, who will play Flowers of the Forest. And after that, we'll be welcomed to country by Uncle Warren Taggart.
Anaganya Kimbai. In our language means hello friend. I'm Uncle Warren and I'm an elder of the Wanneroo people. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The Wanneroo people send their condolences, their love and support to the families that have lost loved ones that are here today, and we are thinking of you at this sad time. I'd like to ask that we take a moment. I'd like to thank you for asking me to do the work in the country here for the memorial service. I'd like to ask that we take a moment to reflect that we are standing on the traditional land of the Wanneroo people. From a young bloke to who I am today, I've spent a lot of time on country and have learnt that every part of the traditional land of the Wanneroo people tells a story, and through the eyes of our ancestors, we see it, we feel it, we live it. Our ancestors have walked this land for thousands of years and still walk it today, leaving footprints behind so others can follow and keep our culture and our dream time alive. Our elders speak to us when the wind blows, giving us guidance. I've asked today that Mother Earth to open her arms up and to give us warmth from her heart. But when it rains, it's tears from her eyes. I ask Karwal to paint the sky blue with his wings, and Biyami, creator of all, to look over us. We have a strong spiritual and cultural connection to this land. It's in our heart and it runs through our blood. I'd like to pay my respect to my people, the Wanneroo people, the traditional owners of this land, and to recognise the continued connection to the land that we meet on today. For our elders hold memories, tradition, culture of this land that we love, work, play and live upon. And I'd like to acknowledge all Aboriginal people, Torres Strait Islanders and non-Aboriginal people that are here today. On behalf of myself, a Wanneroo Elder, I give you my blessing and I welcome you to our land. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Uncle Warren, from the Wanneroo people. Hello, my name is Geraldine Doog, and it's my privilege to be your MC, or Master of Ceremonies, this morning. Today we're joined by the families, the friends and the loved ones of those whose lives were so tragically lost on June the 11th this year. We're here to support each other. We can imagine the pain and the suffering you have endured over the past 4 months. We can't take it away, but we can witness it with you. We're also joined by survivors of the tragedy, along with their families and loved ones. And I would particularly like to acknowledge at this point Her Excellency the Honourable Margaret Beazley, Governor of New South Wales, and Mr Dennis Wilson, and the Honourable Chris Minns, the Premier of New South Wales. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for joining us today. 10 lives were cut short on that night of June the 11th, all in the prime of their lives. That's the tragedy. All with plans, hopes and dreams for the future. They were mothers, they were fathers, sons, daughters and loving partners. Every one of them, as you'll hear, greatly cherished and greatly missed. Another 25 people were injured in the tragedy, and emergency services personnel worked through the night with compassion and professionalism to stabilise those people and to transport them by road and air so they could get the vital care they needed. The terrible impact of this tragedy resonated across our state and our nation. I think we can all remember. This morning's memorial brings our community together to honour the men and women who lost their lives that night and to acknowledge the terrible loss that their families and loved ones endured. It is also an opportunity to acknowledge the immense impact on those who were injured, the families, their families and their loved ones, and to offer our good wishes and support. And it's a chance, I think, to thank the first responders, the emergency services personnel, the hospital staff, who worked with such dedication and commitment on that night and on the weeks and months that follow. Our first speaker today is the Premier of New South Wales, the Honourable Chris Minns. Premier, I invite you to take the stage.
Thank you, Geraldine. Thank you, Uncle Warren, for that warm welcome to country. Friends, today we come together to honour those so terribly impacted by the tragedy on the 11th of June this year. I'd like to begin by paying my respects to the families, the friends and the loved ones of those who were killed in this tragedy, and to those who carry injuries from that day to this, some of whom are joining us online because they couldn't be with us here in person. You have been through challenges that most of us can't begin to imagine. And the tragedy that you've endured is deeply, deeply personal. You need to know that it's touched so many people from our state and right across this country. Please know that we are here to offer our condolences and our support from us to your families. So many people have been affected, and today's memorial is an opportunity for the community to be with you and express that grief, that immense loss, and our love for you and your lost ones. People travelled from all over the country to celebrate on the 11th of June here in the beautiful, beautiful Hunter Valley. Weddings are one of life's great milestones, shared with people we love from all parts of our lives. And in the aftermath of this tragedy, communities in Victoria, Queensland, Tasmania, in the Hunter Valley were all shattered. In tight-knit towns like Branxton and Cessnock and Singleton, it was felt equally hard. It's worth remembering that the Hunter Valley is a big-hearted community, and we saw in this an extraordinary outpouring of support in the way people rushed to open their houses to the family members and loved ones who've lost lives or who were injured, in how people were determined to find ways to offer practical support and to do it immediately and very quickly, to rush to the site of the terrible tragedy, to help the New South Wales Police to go to the hospital. The tragedy took the lives of mums and dads, sons and daughters, sisters and brothers, lifelong mates, and also newly minted friends. I don't think it's too much to say that we saw ourselves in them. Many said, as watching the TV news that night, that looks like my family. That could have been my son. That could have been my daughter. And as we look and take great pride at the already impressive accomplishments of those who passed, we can't help but ask the question, what further accomplishments would have they been able to achieve? In the face of life's cruelty, we take great comfort in the professionalism and the commitment of our first responders. I'd like to acknowledge the police officers, the paramedics, the hospital workers, the firefighters, the council workers, the control centre officers who took part in the rescue effort. I also want to thank their family and friends who stood up to support them during the long nights and the difficult shifts that followed. In those dark hours, this community came together to do everything it could to save lives. Our emergency service workers, our healthcare workers, treated the injured and they treated the past with kindness and with empathy, as if they were treating a member of their own personal family. And in those darkest moments, your family were like family to us. So to the family and friends of the loved ones whose lives have been lost, to those who are injured and their families and friends, there is a long, long way to go, but we will be with you every step of the way. And on behalf of the people of New South Wales, I offer my deepest, sincerest condolences.
Thank you, Premier, for that pledge, which I think you do give on behalf of all of us, and I hope the consoling words. Now we're going to share some precious words and special messages written about their loved ones from the families to whom we're very grateful, and I'll call them up in turn. We'll hear first, if they choose to, by the way. It wasn't insisted, it's their choice. We'll first hear from Jackie Varadsty, who is Zach Bray's mother. Jackie.
Before I read this short poem, I'd like to say to all the families and friends suffering the deep loss of our beautiful 10, that I hope, like my family, you also find comfort knowing that they're all together, wherever that may be, just like we're all together here, and that no one is in this alone. Our beautiful 10. Don't think of them as gone away. Their journey's just begun. Life holds so many facets. This earth is only one. Just think of them as resting from the sorrow and the tears in a place of warmth and comfort where there are no days and years. Think how they must be wishing that we could know today how nothing but our sadness really passes away. And think of them as living in the hearts of those they've touched, For nothing loved is ever lost, and they are loved so much.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you very much, Jackie. Now a poem for Torsi, read by Kay Welsh, Tori Cowburn's mother.
My poem for Torsi. Life did not prepare us to say goodbye to our beautiful girl Tori, and we just keep asking why. But there really are no answers, so we grieve with silent tears, looking back on all the moments of the past many years. These memories are our treasures that we keep inside our hearts, and I know you send your love from above, wishing we never had to part. The legacy you have left us is of happiness and love, and will shine forever brightly from the brightest stars above. Your heart was kind and caring to everyone that you knew, from friends you had for many years or ones you had just met too. Goldie said only Torsi sent her a butterfly the other day that just melted our hearts in a very special way. I truly do believe in nature's soft embrace that butterflies are sent to convey that you are still with us in your own special way. Your zest for life, your love for family, your crazy nature too, are all the things that made an amazing girl like you. You are one of a kind, my Tory girl. That was always clear to see. But most of all, my precious one, you were the special part of me. So with every passing moment, every minute of every day, the love I have for you, my darling girl, in my heart will forever stay.
Thank you very much indeed. Now a reflection on Darcy Bullman, to be spoken by her father, Warren Bullman.
Before I spend a couple of minutes to talk about Darcy, I really wanted to take a moment on behalf of my family, Darcy's family, to extend our sincere thanks and appreciation to all the frontline responders who stepped in and provided the best care and support possible to Darcy and to everybody else that was on the bus. The staff at John Hunter Hospital too were just phenomenal. It was a devastating night for so many, and we thank you sincerely for taking care of our loved ones in such difficult circumstances. There's also a small team who formed our direct support for the time that we were there, liaison team, that were with us for the 13 days that we were in Newcastle from the time of the crash until Darcy was released into our care. Emily Przeska, and I apologise for the pronunciation of her surname, Dylan Malloy, both from the New South Wales Police Force, and Simon Cavalier from the John Hunter Memorial Forensic Medicine. We thank you so very much. You helped us deal with the reality of the situation, the process and steps that had to occur, and you were with us when we were finally able to be with Darcy. You're in our hearts forever. Darcy was an incredible human, loving partner, a loving partner to Nikki, a wonderful daughter and sister,
a very highly capable woman, always ready to give encouragement. Really positive person that you wanted to have around. A ball of energy, beautifully open and generous. We loved and admired so much about Darcy, her generous heart, her infectious smile, the way she lit up a room as she entered, and she knew how to laugh and not take things too seriously. And whilst we won't be able to create any more memories with Darcy, she packed a lot into her 30 years, with her family, with Nikki, with her friends and her work colleagues. And we have an ocean of memories that we'll be able to draw on and cherish forever. Without question, they'll make me smile. I'll occasionally shed a tear. But it'll be a constant reminder to love and live each day to the fullest. With your indulgence, just a poem also seems to be the theme of the day. Darcy's favourite flowers were sunflowers, and I think in the photos that we've seen on the news all the time, she was stood in front of sunflowers. So the poem's The Dance of the Sunflowers. In fields adorned of hues of gold, where summer's passion took its hold, sunflowers stretch their vibrant strides and marvels of creation's ride. Designed to follow the sun above, their hearts devout, their souls writhe. They turn their faces towards the sky and bask in radiance, drawing nigh. Just like the flowers so grand and tall, Darcy possessed a gentle call. She held a fire burning bright, a beacon in the darkest night. Her spirit stored, her presence true, a soul that touched hearts old and new. With warmth and kindness to extend, she left no heartbreak to mend. Like sunflowers she turned her face to shine upon each suffering case. A comfort she became, divined in her solace and peace combined. Her memory a glowing sun that journeys on when daylight's done. Forever etched in hearts she touched, her love in time will not be clutched. For Darcy's efforts soar above, in each glimmer of tender love, she lives in laughter, bird songs play, in sunflowers that crown each day. So let us remember her light, her radiance forever bright. For though she's left this earthly shore, her love's a flame that burns forevermore. Thank you.
Thank you, Warren, very much indeed. I think the jacaranda too today is just an extraordinary offering, and the silky oaks as well. There are some more words for Darcy to be read on behalf of Nick Dinakis, her partner. Darce, 4 months without you is the longest it's been since we met in high school. You still give me strength each day to suck it up and get on with things. Tilly and I miss you a lot. Now I'd like to invite the family of Angus Craig to offer words on his behalf to be spoken by Toby Craig, Angus's mother.
Hello, this is a letter to Angus. Our hearts are aching at your early departure. Losing such a warm, caring soul couldn't be harder. We remember you as a boy, family holidays to Cyprus. We would all get a mezze and you would always have a bacon sandwich. From an early age, you had a strong sense of care and responsibility, watching out for everyone ever so diligently. As a young man, you found your sense of adventure and thrill, cycling, kiting, skiing at will. You loved life, working hard and never wasting any time. Activities, activities would be the familiar chime. Your energy and enthusiasm inspires us to make life count, to be kind, spirited and positive throughout. We are trying so very hard to live life as you would, keeping up with friendships as we know we should. Though whilst we grieve, we can take comfort for a while, knowing when we close our eyes, we can picture your huge, goofy smile. And hope you are with all those beautiful souls whose lives ended the same time as yours. And with time, we hope our hearts will start to mend. We love you, Angus, and that love will never end.
Just from our family would like to thank the local community and the services for their support, care and love over these last months. Grief is said to be one of the loneliest of all journeys, and while that is true, banding together as a community, no matter where you're located or how far apart, is and will continue to be a comfort. Thank you for including us in yours.
Thank you very much, Georgia. Beautiful words, and thank you also, Toby. Now, family representatives from the family of Beck Mullen would like to say some words. Welcome.
On behalf of our family, Beck's family, I would like to thank the first responders, amazing people with incredibly hard jobs. Detective Brad Foote for his professionalism, compassion and kindness. Dom, Annabella and Genevieve for your unwavering support and kindness, helping us through the process of saying our goodbyes. As well as Jess Lawless for guiding us through our goodbyes to Beck. She's an incredibly caring human. Thanks to Dave Lazelle and Ryan Park for helping our family. Thank you to the Mater Hospital, including Brad and Beck's work family. We appreciate you. Shelley Walker, Dr. Marshall and Dr. Matthew for your ongoing support and love. To our friends and family, thank you. To Beck and Sam's most amazing friends, thank you for embracing us. To the Singleton community, your support, love and kindness is palpable. We are so lucky to belong here. To the wider communities throughout Australia, thank you for your messages from afar. And finally, a massive thank you to Jed, Pingu, Russian and others. Thank you so much for your courage on that night. We are forever grateful for you and you are so special to us. Beck was great at telling people what to do. She was constantly dishing out her advice, whether it was wanted, like medical treatment in the hospitals, or unsolicited, like lecturing Sam at home for not washing his dishes. She was always sharing her wisdom, recounting her high school experiences to me, guiding me through. I would like to use this time to share with you one more piece of her advice. It's going to be okay, and you are going to be okay. You're going to thrive and give so much to our world. You will live big and love hard. You will be overcome with joy and you will not always cry at the sound of my name. You'll be your full self and won't let anyone else's thoughts tear you down. You will do it all for me, and I'll be with you every step of the way. Thank you.
Well, thank you again. Very powerful. Now, words for Kaya and Nadine McBride, to be spoken by Helen Arthur and Amelia Bowie, auntie and cousin. Welcome.
Thank you all for being here today. My sister, I and our families would just like to say the tragedy that happened on the 11th of June this year has changed our lives so that our lives are unrecognisable. Our hearts are broken. Our grief and emotions are all encompassing. And we will miss our sister Nadine and niece Kaya so much forever. The only positive that we cling to watching and experience this care of professionalism and respect that the first responders, ambulance, police, pilots, doctors and nurses, hospital workers, specialists, counsellors and community have shown to all the passengers, including our family members, that night and since. Photos we have seen show that they had an amazing day celebrating love and commitment. It gives us comfort to think that their last day on this earth was spent happy and having a wonderful time celebrating the family that they had created around them when they were unable to be with our family. The grief we feel is not ours alone. I see it as a ripple on a pond affecting all that it touches. Thank you is just 2 words, and it seems like it's not enough. However, behind those words is so much appreciation, emotion. You are our bright lights in the dark. To all that helped our loved ones on that tragic night and have continued, please know that you have a little bit of our hearts and ongoing appreciation, and always will. Leonie and I and our families hope that as we learn to cope with our new lives, that you know we will never forget your efforts, respect and care. Our hope is that the family, friends and professionals that are affected by this tragedy look after each other and support each other in this healing process with care and love. Lots of love to this community, including individuals, professionals and businesses for supporting our family in these unimaginable circumstances. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Helen and Amelia. And the ripple on the pond, I think, is a lovely imagery. And words for Kane Simmons to be read by his father, Stephen. Welcome, Stephen.
We still struggle to comprehend the loss of Kane and what our lives look like moving forward without him. And we're touched and humbled by the way in which he's impacted so many. We would like to acknowledge the families of the other victims and all those others who are impacted by this tragedy, along with the first responders who had to face an unforgettable scene, and all those impacted that night and the ensuing period. We also acknowledge the police and the work that they continue to do to this day in terms of working with us and for us as we move forward. Kane was a free spirit who had a cheekiness about him, and he would light up a room instantly. Most people were drawn to him as he's a genuine good bloke and a natural leader without even really knowing it. His presence lifted all of those around him, and he gave permission for people to show their best side. He was able to relate to all age groups, from the youngest to oldest. He just seemed to be able to connect. Kane loved his sport, and especially his surfing, where he'd often travel a long way for a decent wave. He also loved his surf lifesaving at Carlton Park in Tasmania, and also his time as he moved for work, playing football at Lauderdale, Horsham and Singleton. And we've had amazing support from all of those towns and communities where he was part of. Whilst he definitely had a mischievous side and love of a party, the underlying message is that he developed into a loving, lovable, caring person and we are so proud of that. We loved him so much that every day we miss the opportunity to share that love with him and watch what type of man he would have continued to become. It rips our heart out every day that we don't have the opportunity for him to develop his full potential and to tick off many more life's dreams and adventures that he'd planned for his life, including working and travelling overseas, which was his dream. He wanted to travel and experience the world, which he is planning to do with Kaya at the end of the year. Kane, you were taken way too soon from all that knew you. We now have a gaping hole in our heart that can only be filled by the beautiful memories you gave us along the way. You'll be in our hearts forever. Time is not healing wounds, and I'm not sure it ever will, as you'll always be a special person in our lives, and our family will never be the same. Cheers, Cobber.
Thanks very much indeed, Stephen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's clear from what we've heard that these young people will very much live on in the hearts and memories of those who loved and formed them and will continue to miss them. Each family has chosen a family member or a friend who will now come forward to light a candle and to lay flowers in honour of their loved one. Singleton's own Travis Collins will provide musical accompaniment on guitar. So I invite first the family of Zach Bray to come forward. Family of Darcy Bullman, welcome. Tori Cowbin's family. Angus Craig. Kaya McBride and Nadine McBride. Beck Mullen. Andrew Scott. Winds are against you. And Lynn Scott. And Kane Simmons. Thank you all. The power of ritual very much on display. On behalf of the people of New South Wales and the community of the Hunter Valley, I would now like to invite the Governor, Her Excellency the Honourable Margaret Beasley and Mr Dennis Wilson, and the Honourable Chris Minns, the Premier, to make a floral tribute. If you'd like to come forward, please. Along with Mitchell Gaffney and Madeline L. Edsel, I also welcome you to make your tribute. And thank you, Travis, for accompanying us as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the service, sprigs of gum leaves will be available at the front of the stage for anybody who would like to join in the tribute themselves. And joining us now, Casey Donovan is going to perform Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. But now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Twas grace that brought me safe this far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun,
Well, thank you, Casey. That was quite something. I'd like to invite Scott McKenzie now to join us, a team leader chaplain with New South Wales Ambulance, to offer some words of comfort to the families and really to share his reflections on the impact the crash did have on first responders, a critical part of this celebration or commemoration today, and the broader community here in the Hunter Valley. Scott lives here in Singleton and provided direct support to paramedics who attended the terrible scene and who were confronted with the enormous and, in some cases, sadly, impossible task of saving the lives of those passengers. So, Scott, welcome.
A memorial service is helpful for many reasons, but there are two reasons that stand out to me from what I've seen and from what I've heard. Today is an expression of love, and today is an acknowledgement of sacrifice. Today is an expression of love for others, mourning for loved ones we have lost, remembering our loved ones, and committing never to forget them, comforting those who are still recovering from both physical and mental wounds, grieving with those directly impacted from this tragedy, and also supporting those which this tragedy brings back memories of past loss and trauma, like the 2012 Singleton bus crash here. These are all expressions of love, and today is an expression of a loving community coming together as one to express our love for one another. Today is also an acknowledgement of the sacrifice of our first responders and the sacrifice of those who supported our first responders and our community. I know from first hand that our first responders will say, well, I was only doing my job, that's what I'm paid to do. And though that may be true, your role as an emergency worker includes things most of us will never understand, even those closest to us. Today's gathering acknowledges your extraordinary work. Today acknowledges your selfless sacrifice as you put yourself in harm's way both physically and emotionally. So we want to say thank you. Thank you to those who responded to the call, and thank you for your professionalism. We also want to thank the whole team. We want to thank the call takers, the dispatchers, the paramedics, the aeromedical teams, the police and forensics, to Fire Rescue New South Wales, the Rural Fire Service, the SES, to the Emergency Department nurses and doctors, and to the off-duty officers that attended. Thank you for your sacrifice that late evening and early morning. We also acknowledge the emotional sacrifice of those who supported and are still supporting our emergency workers and our community. The peer support officers, the psychologists, the chaplains, to name a few. You sat in their shoes, you felt their raw emotion. You absorbed what they were feeling. Some of you were on scene. Thank you for being there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the telephone calls. Thank you for the texts. Thank you for the visits. Thank you for asking, are you okay? Thank you for your professional help. Lastly, we acknowledge those who sacrificed their time to come into our community to support us. Thank you to the psychologists, the counsellors and chaplains representing many different organisations and churches. You guys dropped everything to come to us in our time of need. Thank you for sacrificing your time for us. Today, regardless of your role, we acknowledge the toll of your sacrifice. The song Amazing Grace is a perfect song for today. John Newton wrote those words to Amazing Grace after he became a Christian. In the word grace that John Newton used are the themes of love and the themes of sacrifice. Amazing grace. The amazing love God showed us in Jesus so that we would love others. Amazing grace. the amazing selfless sacrifice of Jesus, who sacrificed his life for ours to give us hope. Today is a reminder of amazing grace. Today is a reminder of the selfless sacrifice of our emergency workers. Today is a reminder of the selfless sacrifice of those who supported them. Today is a reminder of our love for one another. Today, our community comes together as one. We come together as one in the face of horrific tragedy. To do what? To show our love to one another for the long term. Today is a day of love shown towards those who are now not with us. And today is a day where we love those who are mourning lost ones as we rally around them and comfort them.
Thank you indeed, Chaplain Scott. Gratitude, memory and accompaniment. That's what I'm going to take away from today. They're pretty special virtues, I think. Now, Casey Donovan is going to join us again, you'll be pleased to hear, to perform True Colours with Travis Collins, accompanied by David Pritchard Blunt. True Colours is a song about being there and supporting people when they are feeling overwhelmed.
The sad eyes. Don't be discouraged, oh I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. Hey, you can lose sight of it all, and the darkness inside you can make you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
Saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, you call me up because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a
crazy. You've taken all you can bear.
You call me up because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors, true colors that shine through. And I see your true colors, and that's why I
That was wonderful, really. Thank you all. That was wonderful. Well, that brings our commemoration to a close, our memorial. Thank you very much for being here, really. If you'd like to leave a message of condolence, you can do so by visiting the State Services page on the New South Wales Government website, or you can use the QR code on the back of your program too, by the way. As I mentioned earlier, sprigs of gum leaves are available, as you can see there, to lay as a tribute at the front of the stage, because I think that we could see what that did for people. For those who'd like to stay, a free community barbecue in partnership with Rotary will be hosted at the rear of the showground over there. If you'd like to stay, I'm sure we'd all love to meet each other. Thank you to everyone here today for coming to honour the lives of those lost and to hopefully console those of the families of people who did survive and people who lost lives. Thank you for making this solemn ceremony matter. Thank you for your presence. Thank you. Bye-bye.